Welcome back to Reading Bear. Today, we will take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
The first story is entitled Woman at Universal Studios Japan. I am a 24-year-old female working in Osaka, Japan. Naoko, a work friend, invited me to Universal Studios Japan. I agreed, because USJ has owls, live, adorable, real owls at their Harry Potter adventure, which the US does not have. Naoko is nervous to go see them because she does not like big birds. I want to go, so I am asking her nicely to come with or wait for me to see them. While we are discussing this, someone taps me on the shoulder. I turn around and see a well-dressed mother and her 11-year-old daughter. They look pretty normal. The mother, Karen, is wearing a Harry Potter shirt, carrying several bags, and looking lost. Her daughter is begging to go on a ride. Karen pulls out a map and says, "Hey, do you speak English?" I cannot figure out where ride is. I point in the general direction we came from. I tell her, I do. We just came from ride over there. Karen taps the map with a perfectly manicured talon. But where specifically? Naoko pops in, because she is the most helpful person in the world. That is not sarcastic, she is wonderful. You have pen? She asks. She mimes drawing on the map. I always have pens on me. I tell her, here, if you want, she'll circle it for you. Karen looks like I threatened to carve out her child's eyes and feed it to Izanami for breakfast. She jerks the sacred map to her chest. She tells me, do not touch our map. Just take us there. Naoko, like the kid from The Sixth Sense, whispers dramatically, we see owls. I can see how annoyed Karen is getting. I am thankful that Karen has made Naoko more interested in seeing the majestic skycats. Anything, I think, is better than being around Karen. So I tell Karen that unfortunately the ducks have left the building and they will not return this season due to budget cuts in the duck account. I tell her, politely as I can, we are going to see the owls. Just ask one of the workers. We found a couple people who speak really good English. Naoko and I are off to see the wizard. Karen says loudly, just take us to the ride. Me. No. We have to go now. Karen. My daughter is going to be really upset if we don't get to the ride before closing. Me. Talk to an employee. Ma'am, I am not a tour guide. Karen. But you're American. Me. So? I live here now. Karen. So you should help me. Me. No thanks. Have a nice day. Karen then turns to her daughter and tells her that I am not going to show them where the ride is so they won't be able to do it before daddy finds them. This 11-year-old girl proceeds to fall onto the ground and start sobbing. Karen. Don't you make a scene, freak out. So this girl is throwing an absolutely silent fit, pounding the ground with her hands, all while not making any noise. Naoko and I decide we are going to leave. Karen is just standing there while we leave, telling her daughter we ruined the day. Instead, of asking the super bilingual employees. It was so weird. The next story is titled, Hamburger Time is Precious. Setting. I worked at a bank as a commercial teller. This means that the business owners had their own place to line up when they needed to do transactions. This also means that they couldn't go to a regular teller because they didn't have the many requirements to process commercial transactions. Commercial transactions are typically large sum deposits in cash or check form or placing a change order. A regular teller would only have access to basic change. Nothing compared to the volume one carried in my safe. The client. This guy. My goodness. This guy was something. He would come in every damn day and always ask for the same thing. Well, it wasn't so much of an ask as it was barking orders. He would march up to my counter, slam his bag down in front of me and, without looking at me, just start saying numbers. 21s. 35s. 1025s means rolls of quarters. It took me almost 2 months to understand his logic. Eventually I caught on to what he was ordering without needing him to repeat. The arousal. Being one of 2 commercial tellers for a big bank in the heart of our downtown district, I was busy. I was also very efficient. I got to a point where I was able to predict what each client would need and on which day. My boss was very happy with me and always trusted my judgment. Our bank was located next to a restaurant. A brand new restaurant. A brand new burger restaurant. My colleagues and I kept talking about how we needed to go there because of all the hype. I had recently been on a diet, so the mere prospect of biting down into something meat and cheesy would put me on the cusp of a perpetual orgasm. D-Day. So today is the day. I will finally get one of those delicious burgers that everyone keeps talking about. I'm so excited. It's a cheat day and my body has never been more ready. I also had skipped breakfast that day because I was late. Not smart, but such is life. So I walk into the restaurant and the smell alone. You ever been so hungry that smelling food gives you a boner? Yup. So I sit down at a table and start looking at the options. I'm alone. I'm wearing my work clothes, but I took off my name tag. I'm just a guy in a nice shirt reading a menu at a restaurant. I order the most outrageous beef monster with everything. It arrives. God, I'm salivating just thinking about it again, lol. I take one bite, and then I hear it. Me equals me BC equals bank client BC. Ahem, me, in a trance, look up. Hi? BC actually puts his ducking bag on my table in front of my food. BC. When you're done 2010s, 35s, etc., me, are you? You can't be serious? Dude, I'm eating and also we're not even at the bank. BC. I can obviously see that. I'm not stupid. That's why I said when you're done. Do this. I don't have time to wait in line. I'll pick it up later. Me. Sir, I work at the bank, not here. This ain't a proxy. This is my lunch. My time. For me. Take your things off my table please, BC. So what, you won't help me? That is incredibly lazy of you. Me. I am on lunch in another building. What makes you think that the bank extends to this restaurant? This is a restaurant, BC. I don't have time to just stand and wait. You people are so incredibly slow and lazy all the time. Take my stuff and do it when you finish eating and I'll pick it up later. Me. No, BC. Excuse me? I am an important client and you will do as I say. Me. Not here, you're not. Here you're a regular guy just like me. I'm not an employee here, I'm a ducking customer trying to eat my ducking burger, now duck all the way off. I really said it like that. Mom was always on my case about my swearing. My sister is worse though. BC. I cannot believe this treatment I'm receiving. I will be speaking with your manager about this. Now the conversation obviously got loud and this prompted a manager to show up. Because they were a new restaurant, I gather they didn't want any drama. Manager. Sir, is everything okay here? Me. No, everything is not okay. This man is harassing me while I am trying to enjoy my lunch, BC. He is an employee and I asked him to do something and he won't. Manager. Sir, this man is not an employee here. He's a customer and he's obviously not interested in whatever you're selling, so please. BC. I know he is not an employee here. I'm not stupid. He works at the bank. I need him to do my banking. Manager. This is not a bank. I'm gonna ask you to leave right now. We do not tolerate yelling and harassment in our establishment. BC collects his things and looks me dead in the eye and says to me, when you finally get back to work and stop being lazy, I will be waiting with your boss. I'll see to it you are fired. Me. Bite number 2, I took my full hour. Ate my delicious burger. The manager offered me a discount for my troubles, but I refused. I felt like I brought it on myself. My own personal demon followed me here and caused the ruckus. It wasn't the restaurant's fault. I get back to work and true to his word, BC is there in my boss's office. I don't go in. I go back to my counter and start serving people. I hear muffled yelling and BC storms out and doesn't look at me. Boss lady wants to see me. She asks me if BC came to me on my lunch to do official commercial banking. I said yes and I have witnesses. She says she knows. The owner of the restaurant called her. I had no idea, but this restaurant was also our client. Brand new. And so she made the decision that BC was no longer authorized to conduct business with us. He was on a very fine line in terms of legal conduct. You see, if you try and conduct banking outside of a banking establishment and outside of banking hours, I was on break so I wasn't clocked in, then it can be misconstrued as, well, you're doing some shady crap that you want no record of. She wanted no part in that and pretty much told him to go elsewhere or we close his accounts. All of them. And she's a ruthless idiot. I believe her. Now BC has to travel 10 city blocks to do his banking when he used to be able to walk 25 feet. I still saw him after that. Never spoke to him again though. Also when I go out for lunch, I try and sit in the shadows as much as possible. The next story is titled, Actually I do work here, and no you didn't get the job. Apologies, this is a long one. It happened about 15 years ago and I actually found my original interview notes from this encounter. Here goes. I'm driving back to the office after a hasty lunch. I've spent the entire morning interviewing candidates for a vacancy in my team and I've got a full afternoon of interviews lined up. As I drive up to our parking lot, an obnoxious dude, OD, cuts right in front of me, causing me to slam on the brakes hard to avoid hitting his car. I smack my horn and give him an exasperated WTF look when he looks back at me through his rearview mirror. OD ignores me and proceeds to turn into our parking lot. OD then pulls into my designated lot and I pull alongside him. Me, you really need to watch how you drive. You almost hit me. OD rolls down his window and extends his middle finger. Loud Euro techno music emanates from his car. OD revs his engine and yells back, "Go duck yourself." If this was any other day, I'd be getting ready to respond in kind, but I've got my afternoon schedule packed full of interviews and I don't have the time or patience to deal with OD. I shake my head in frustration, but I move my car a couple of lots away, just in case OD decides to do something to my car. I figure this is the end of my interaction with OD and I rush into the office to get ready for the interviews. Our office manager notices that I'm out of sorts, and asks if I'm okay. I explain what transpired in the parking lot and quickly brush it off. Our office manager is like a mother to me and very protective. I assure her that I'm fine and she can send the next candidate over to my office. About an hour later, I'm between interviews and I hear a knock on my door. It's the office manager with a knowing look on her face. "Hey Roadhim, I think your OD is lined up for the next interview." "Send him in," I say. Office manager flashes that same knowing look and nods. This is going to be interesting. A few seconds later, OD walks up to the door and seats himself down in the chair before looking up and realizing who I am. Awkward silence. "OD, about just now." "Yes," I say, "in the parking lot. You know I was in a rush. Stress of the interview, you know." Amazing. OD doesn't even have the decency to apologize. OD then begins to tell me how he's such a good fit for the role and that in his opinion I need to stop interviewing other candidates immediately, or something to that effect. I keep a blank face throughout the interview and just look at him. I don't consider myself to be a mean person, but it is an absolute joy seeing him squirm in the seat in front of him. I wait for another uncomfortably long pause before leaning forward across the table. OD cringes back in his seat. "Me, your interview began in the parking lot and I'm happy to say that you will not be getting the job." OD sags visibly and retreats from the room. Office manager's head pops in my doorway 5 minutes later with a huge grin on her face. For the rest of my time at that job, the office manager would bring it up every now and then and we have a big laugh about it. This experience taught me to always be humble and gracious to other people, and also not be a jackass on the road. The next story is titled, Lady Lost Her Mind When I Wouldn't Clean Her Mat. So quick background. I live close enough to my mother that we do this CrossFit class together every Saturday. It's fun and we bond. The class is an hour long and at the beginning we grab mats and weights. We tend to grab a few different types depending on the workout the guy assigns. You have to be early to this class because it's popular and me and my mom grab spots in the back. The class fills up and all the regulars take their spots. There isn't much room, but there is space in the front. For the first half hour everything is going well, then this lady comes in. She walks in the center of the room and stares at us, then goes and grabs a mat. I head over to a station on the TRX and begin my set. When I come back I see this lady has pushed my mat into my weights and has made herself a spot. My mom is livid, but I wave her off. Don't get me wrong, I am annoyed, but it happens and I continue the class. 5 minutes later our instructor gives us the next set of workouts. I finish my workout on the mat and see there is a free TRX. If you don't know what it is, it's basically a rope you attach to the wall and do different exercises with. As I am pushing through a set someone taps my shoulder. It's this lady. You finished 10. I counted. Stop hogging. First of all I did not. Secondly our instructor has us go through the sets twice in a round, so I was planning to go through twice. Thirdly there was a free on right next to me. I point out the free one and she rolls her eyes and says something snarky about how I wasn't being mindful of costumers. She then demands that I show her how we are doing the workout. I kinda show her my form and then Mike the trainer comes by. She smugly looks at me and is like, "Good, someone is doing their job around here." I just shrug it off and try to finish my set in peace. I go back to my workout and don't have anything with her till the end of class. At the end our instructor hands out wipes for us to clean the mats before we return them. My mom was returning the weights while I was wiping our mats. As I am wiping my mom's down, a mat is thrown at me and lands on my hands. I am on my hands and knees. I look up and it's this woman again. She is kinda smugly looking down at me, throws down her wipe and then begins to walk away. I get up with her mat and hand it back to her. Me. Excuse me, that's not where you leave them. Her. What? You are cleaning them. You need to clean mine. Me. Yeah, just this one and mine. Her. What makes her special? Me. She is my mom. Her. That doesn't matter, it's your job to clean these. I was kinda floored at the idea I worked there. Only because I am working on losing weight. I am not obese, but I certainly don't have a trainer's body. Me. I don't work here. Her. Stop being bratty, it's clear you work here. Me. What? Her. You clearly work here, I can see your uniform. Plus you were helping that woman the whole time. For the record, the supposed uniform was black leggings and a black tank. And there wasn't one. Me. Picking up my mat and my mom's. I do not work here. Leave me alone. She then begins screaming the intruster's name and he comes up. With my mom right behind him. She has seen some of the stuff and was pretty much over this lady's crap. Mike on the other hand has no idea. He can tell from my face that I am annoyed. Mike. What's going on? Her. You need to fire this woman. She is refusing to clean my mat and spent the whole lesson ignoring me. Mike, who at this point understands my annoyance. She doesn't work here, but I can clean your mat. I also should tell you that we don't clean mats in the future. At this point the lady huffs out and marches downstairs. I think that's the end of it till my mother and I go down and see this woman screaming at the front desk. She sees me and then points. Her, get that brat fired, she used brat way too much. The front desk guy is this pretty innocent kid. Probably in high school. She doesn't work here, ma'am. At this point her face is as red as it gets. She screams and then walks out. My mom made us wait inside till she left the parking lot. Probably for the best. The next story is titled, "We Are Closed. No, I'm not letting you in, good night." Our store closed tonight for Christmas Eve at 6 p.m. Our store is 24/7, so it hardly ever closes ever. I was working in the jewelry department since early that morning and was absolutely overwhelmed with people and checking customers out at the same time. They announced the store was about to close, all departments are closed, and for everyone to proceed to a register. I checked people out while everyone not on a register swept the store, pulling everyone to the checkouts asking them to leave. We worked hard all day and finally, all the customers were gone, and they said we can clock out and have a Merry Christmas. I was strolling out of the back like I was on fire. They let us have 30 minutes to do some quick shopping after closing for our hard work. We grabbed some groceries and some food, and lined up all socializing, sharing gifts, and having a good time waiting to check out. I met up with my husband, who also works there on the other end of the store. Our store manager was guarding the door with a big security guard. She wished us a Merry Christmas and let us out of the store. Understand that our store manager does not bow to anyone. She don't care who you are. If you aren't corporate, she will tell you to get the hell out and duck off with no hesitation, even to customers. During closing, she gave no ducks. She told everyone in the store 10 minutes till to get their stuff and get in line at a register. Anyone who dared to argue quickly got in line when she would say, "Okay, if you aren't going to check out, give me all your items and walk out that door or be thrown out." We merrily walked out to our car. I put the groceries up and an old man approaches us. I heard that you guys are closed tonight, is that true? Me. Yep. Well, is there any way you can get us in the store? Me. No. We're closed. What? Please. Me. No, we are closed. I'm leaving. No, you are not leaving. This is ridiculous, you are being so rude. Where is your manager? I point at the store manager who is literally 30 feet from me, who for extra hilarity, is currently shouting at a customer telling her she cannot come in, leave, or she will call the police. The timing was priceless. I smiled and milked that crap for all it was worth. Me. My name is X. Go tell her I wouldn't let you in the store. Let's go over there together. He just stood there in shock for a moment, with bewilderment in his eyes, knowing he lost. Oh, that's okay. Sorry. If that wasn't enough, my husband shouted, "Goodbye, get your stuff and get out," as we drove away. I was dead. The next story is titled, "I just wanted you to move your cart." So I went into a grocery store, Co-op, to grab some things. Some snacks and baking supplies. I grab a basket and go up the lanes, and every so often I would have to backtrack because of a blonde girl on her phone has blocked half the aisle with her cart. The cart was horizontal, so it completely blocked off the aisle. Anyways, after bumping into for at least 3 times, the third time being the most annoying as her and her cart is blocking the thing I need, cinnamon. And I can't around through to another aisle as the cart is literally in front of it, so I go up to her and ask. Me. Excuse me, can you? Blonde. Oh my god. I don't ducking work here. I'm not even wearing clothes from here. Me. That's not what. Blonde. Do I look like I work here? Do I have some sort of worker aura that must make me work here? Oh my god. She pretty much interrupts me and goes back to her phone telling whoever it was how she got mistaken for an employee. I don't say anything and just push her cart out of the way. Blonde. This my cart, you can't take it, and I grabbed the cinnamon and showed it to her. Me. I was asking you to move your cart, so I could get the cinnamon. I didn't think you worked here. I just wanted you to move. She went kind of red in the face, straightened out her cart and left the aisle. I did see her a couple of times while I got the rest of my stuff, but she didn't look at me. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.